Revelation 20. Revelation 20 is a very difficult chapter to understand. So before we go to Revelation 20, we must know that Revelation is a spiritual vision given to John, ushering in the day of vengeance and completing the day of vengeance. Genesis, the first book in the Bible, is a vision given to Moses. Together, these two books protect and keep the Spirit Word. The written Word was only compiled 335 after Christ, 200 years, more or less, after Revelation was written. Paul writes to Timothy, he says, "Study to show yourself approved of God, a workman rightly dividing the word of truth," not dividing the Bible, the word of truth. Isaiah 29:11 says, "The vision of all is like a book that was sealed." And Genesis sets that vision of all, and it lays down the patterns, and Revelation is the opening of the book. Peter says, "We have a more sure word of prophecy than the voice that called on the mountain." This voice started walking in the garden. "Adam, where are you?" When the ark landed on Ararat, meaning the curse is being reversed, the voice of my beloved comes leaping over the mountains, skipping over the hills to bring us to the mountain. Christ died on the same mountain. Abraham was willing to sacrifice his son, and this is where God offered his son. The Mount of Transfiguration was a foreshadow of what was going to happen, because the transformation only happens on the mountain. This is why David said, "Who will go up the mountain?" The book of Revelation is the hand of God outstretched, completing the work that started on the cross. Over and over, Isaiah said, and his hand was still outstretched. And in Revelation, the books were opened, but the book in the right hand of God, he said, "With my own right hand, I got myself the victory." So we cannot just read this with a natural mind, because the natural mind cannot understand the things of God, for they are spiritually discerned. This is why we have the Spirit inside, fulfilling the purpose of the flood. God said, "My Spirit cannot forever strive with man on the outside." There was a new beginning, and God started preparing a body that would contain the Spirit. This body was nailed on the cross and became the final sacrifice of the system that was to bring forth the body, so the Spirit can be poured in our hearts. And in Revelation, he said, "The voice is now behind us. For we have a more sure word of prophecy than the voice on the mountain." The Spirit speaks on our inside. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is the same Spirit that said, "Let there be light," is the same Spirit that brings this illumination into our hearts. So we can know and can understand. The written word was given to us so we can understand the purpose of God that plays out in time, which is nothing else but the goodness of God. Revelation is the turning point where the voice is behind us and the Spirit speaks within. We can only understand this awesome book by the Spirit and the Word, rightly dividing the word of truth.